Hi, everybody. This is Rob again in the fourth entry in our Veracity launch video tutorial series. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about learner accounts and how you can make them, how you can change them, how you assign things, and kind of the learner experience. So I'm going to start from where we left off in the last video, which had us as the administrator uploading content. So we've got a piece of content. We made the portal in the second video, and now we want to create some learner accounts so that they can play the content and you can get reports about them. Let's go to our portal. I'm already logged in, and I'm going to go to Manage Learners under the Administration menu. So you'll see that I myself am in here as a learner. That's important. You are the owner, but you're also an account within the system. If you delete yourself, you're going to have to call us to fix it, right? You don't want to delete yourself unless you've elected somebody else to be the administrator, which I'll show you how to do. In the Manage Learners interface, there's a couple of different ways that you can create new learners. The simplest one is to give us a big list of email addresses. So you would just give us one at comma, just a big comma separated list, right, of emails. I'm not going to do this, but you could just give us a big list of email addresses. That's a pretty simple way for you to create accounts in bulk. You can upload a CSV file. That CSV file needs to have a specific format, just like this. Username, XAPI actor can be blank, email, password, password again, and send email should just be lowercase true. We are going to have in the help desk and the learner manual, the admin manual, an example CSV file that you can use to edit to fill that out. That's fine. That'll work if you want to kind of set those things separately. I'm going to hit cancel. What I'm going to do is create one just totally manually. Go to create learner. Give it a username, demo learner. All right. We need an email address. I'm going to use a kind of a fake email address for now. You need to give them a password. This send validation email is pretty important. I mean, if you know that address is correct and you want to verify it manually, you can. Normally, you leave that checked, hit create learner, and an email address or an email message is going to go out to that address. It'll be from no reply at go launch it, and it'll say validate account on Camtasia Demo portal in Veracity Launch, where Camtasia Demo is the name of your portal. So that's this one, this Yaviv. I'm going to open the email. Inside that email is going to be a link that says verify your account. I want to be careful to open that link for purposes just of this demo in an incognito window since I'm already logged in. So I'll make a new incognito window. And what I'm going to do is copy the link address and paste it. Normally the learner would just click it in their email, but because I'm making this video, I want you to see what I'm doing. You can't really see me. I don't want to share my email program. I'm going to just paste the address and then browse to it, just like I was clicking the link in my email program. You'll see I'm now in my incognito window as demo learner. That's it. I've validated my email address, and if I come back here and I refresh the administrative page, you'll see the email address is valid because they clicked the link. And on top of that, they're logged in. Now, this learner can't do anything, right? If I go to my content, right, they're not assigned any content. They kind of can, set up a couple of basic things about their account. They have no progress to report. There's nothing for them to do. You will note that because in the previous video, we made a piece of content that supports self-enrollment that could go to all content and enroll in that demo content we made earlier. What I want to do is show you a little bit more about what you can do with this learner as the administrator. One of the things that comes out, just the single most often is how can I make a second administrator to my portal, right, or give some other person access to administrative functions. To do that, you'll find the user in question in the user table. you go to Edit Permissions, and you can give them kind of fine-grained access, but for the most part, you'll just want to check Portal. Check Portal and hit Save. If I come back to my user in the incognito window and refresh, now when they browse to administration, they're gonna be able to get there. So just by checking, Portal in the administrative interface, I've given this person full access to be an administrator. They can make themselves not the administrator. Go to Manage Learners, find themselves, right? Edit Permissions, uncheck Portal, save. And you see this spinny thing? It's spinning infinitely because I just removed the permissions to even get to this screen. If I go back to the home page, you'll notice that administration has disappeared. I'm no longer an administrator. You can make those permissions more fine-grained if you like, whatever. Once you've got a learner, their email address is verified, you can manage their enrollments. You can get a status report. Just click Status Report. There's nothing to see. Let's do this. As the learner, I'm going to go to Content, All Content, Self-Enroll, since self-enrollment is enabled. So now that I have self-enrolled, if I go to the Learner Status Report as the administrator, I'll see an existing enrollment that has not yet started. When the learner actually launches the content for the first time, start tracking some data, right? I'll abandon that. Go back and look here. And if I pull the report again, you'll see it's in progress. I've been in there for 4 seconds on a single attempt. This will populate over time with more and more and more of the information about the completions for this student, and we keep track of these major values: the score, the duration, the number of attempts, when they sort of closed it last, and should there be some sort of certificate, then we'll give you a link to show the certificate. I'll talk more about certificates in another video. There's a couple other things you can do with the learner. You can mark that they must reset their password. You can manually verify their email if they didn't get the email address, but it's right, or for some reason you might want to manually do it. You can delete them, and one that comes up a lot is you can impersonate them. If you're trying to troubleshoot some kind of assignment and you're not getting it the way you think you should, then you can just become that person. I'm not going to do that, but you don't have to know their password to log in as them. You as the administrator can just click impersonate. That's pretty much it. There isn't all that much to know about making a learner and being a learner, right? Learners just see their own content. In this case, because it's in progress and I am enrolled, because I exercise the self-enrollment, I will see that it's on my content, not all content, right? It's moved from all content to my content because I enrolled in it. And it's also under my progress, right? I will get a very similar report that the administrator gets of my own progress. That's pretty much all there is to being a learner inside of Veracity Launch. You find the content you want, and you launch it. The content is listed in the order that you most recently enrolled into it or most recently launched it. You can search. You can go to search by tag here for different tag content. There's nothing to see in this case. And listed under my content also would be any content that you had been explicitly enrolled in. I do want to talk about enrollment now that I have a couple of learners. So I've got some content that is self-enrollment, but let's imagine I didn't. Let me go to Administration, Manage Content, turn off self-enrollment. Now, the student already has an enrollment. They made one during the time when self-enrollment was enabled, but other people who hadn't done that wouldn't see anything. To assign the content specifically, you would go to Manage Content, find the content in question, go to Enrollments, Manage Enrollments, right? And you'll see both of my learners, both the learners on the system currently have an existing enrollment. I'm going to cancel their enrollment, right? Unenroll. If I come and I look from the student perspective in my incognito tab, if I refresh, you'll see I'm not enrolled in any content under my content. And under all content, there's no content. Content that is not self-enrollment and a learner is not assigned to is essentially invisible to that learner. To manually set up the assignment, I would come to the enrollments for given piece of content. I find the people I care about, right? And then I click enroll. You can set an enrollment begin and end date, or you can just leave those alone. We'll make them sane automatically. Hit enroll. Now, when your learners come to the enrollment page, they go to all content. My content. They're going to see that they're enrolled in the zombie apocalypse test. So in this video, we kind of covered two different topics. Maybe I ought to split them into two. We'll see if I go back and do that. We created a learner account, verified it, talked a little bit about the different ways that you might set up learner accounts. We ran a piece of content as the learner to see what it looks like. We saw the learner content report, and we talked briefly about explicitly enrolling learners into content when that content doesn't allow for self-enrollment. That's it for this video. We are almost done with the basics, and this video series is going to start getting into portal customization, getting different kinds of reports, single sign-on, and getting into deeper topics about content playback that allow you to integrate this system, not just using this simple user interface we built, but all the other ways you can get to the content playback functionality and integrate it with your systems.